going on, Jerome's? So I know we could basically just hash and rehash this conversation after every single game. But, I mean, that's what you do with new information. And slinging it Sammy Darnold, a.k.a. America's quarterback, he done did it again, right? 377, 3 touchdowns against the greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers, a 116 quarterback rating. Now, I know that people say, well, he had that bad interception that kept the Packers in the game. Congratulations. He's had 2 picks in the last 7 games. Only one of them was bad. The one against the Bears was the 4th down, whatever. So I think that we can sort of live with that, right? And at a certain point, you got to ask yourself, what more do you want, right? And Darnold, 4,000 yards passing this year, 35 touchdowns, tied for the second most in a single season in team history. Could pass Dante's 39, get your roll on, drop a 5-piece on the Lions on Sunday. That'd be fantastic. But the Vikings are 14-2. Slinging Sammy Darnold is clutch, clutch, clutch every single week. He makes a couple throws. They're just like, oh, that's why he was the number 3 overall pick. And I know we have J.J. McCarthy. And I got faith in J.J. McCarthy. I think that he's the bee's knees. I think that physically, mentally, he's got the makeup to be a great quarterback. And we've always said, don't let good be the enemy of great. But what if Sam Darnold is great? It's a valid question. And as we go along in these high leverage games, and as he continues to perform, the playoffs is going to go a long way in determining what happens with Darnold. But after this game, the way that he performed, the way that he did the damn thing down the stretch, the way that his teammates responded to him, mobbing him in the locker room, spraying him with water, putting him up on the shoulders, what more do you want? That's a legitimate question. And you know what's insane? There's about a dozen humans on planet Earth, out of 8 billion people, that could play a high-level quarterback at a given time in the world, right? Sam Darnold is one of them. And over the last 2 months, Sam Darnold has played like a top 5 quarterback. I firmly believe that. It has been Lamar, it's been Josh Allen, it has been Jumpin' Joe Burrow, Herbert, it's been Sam Darnold. He has played better than Patrick Mahomes, and if you disagree, you're either stupid or you're lying. All right? And at a certain point, the Vikings have to ask themselves, what more do you want? And I know that the plan was Darnold's a bridge quarterback, $10 million bucks. Next year, we're out from underneath the $62 million dead cap from the Kirk Daniil and Marcus Davenport contracts. And then it's J.J. McCarthy's squad. And it's a great competitive advantage to have your starting quarterback on his rookie deal. But things change. Things absolutely do change. And say the Vikings let Darnold walk in open free agency. I think it's doubtful. I think that at minimum, it'll be a tag and trade situation, trading him to the team that he wants to go to, a team that he's going to sign a long-term deal with. But say that there's a bidding war, because it's a 2-quarterback draft with Shador and Cam Ward. What's Darnold going to get? He could command top dollar, at least Jordan Love money. Hey, how'd that $55 million a year work out, by the way? Also, how come there's zero goose egg? DeAndre Russell talks about, well, Jordan Love signed this massive contract, so the Packers can't afford any free agents. Or the same thing with the Lions. They paid Jared Goff $50 million bucks a year, and then they signed Penei Sewell, Aleem McNeil. How come there's zero talk about them in free agency? But with the Vikings, like, if you pay Sam Darnold $1, you can't afford free agency. No, that's stupid. Especially the Vikings getting out from this dead cap this year, and with Rob Brzezinski, even if they franchise tag Darnold and take all 42 million on the cap in 2025, they can structure contracts of guys they bring in open free agency or players that they want to resign. Look at Byron Murphy, Cam Beasley, to make it work with the cap. I trust Kwesi and Rob Brzezinski to work things out. Things will be fine. So if it's not a cap issue, which at the end of the day, it really isn't, I mean, what else? What else are you looking for? A guy that consistently shows up in the clutch, a guy who's building and growing, showing chemistry with Jefferson, Addison, Hockenson, Speedy Naylor every single week, and is going to get better and better with Kevin O'Connell. Like, honestly, what more do you want? Because this is not a 2017 Case Keenum flash in the pan. This is not a Tebow Mania, a 2011 Broncos situation. Sam Darnold is playing high, elite level, clutch quarterback right now. And what more do you want? I love J.J. McCarthy, but it's like the whole Family Guy conversation. Like, do you want Sam Darnold, or do you want the mystery? Do you want the mystery box? Well, the mystery box could be anything. It could even be Sam Darnold, right? I love and respect J.J. McCarthy. I think that he's going to be great. But what would be wrong with franchising Sam Darnold for a year and seeing what happens? Just to see that McCarthy's knee is 100% good to go, plus him being active as the quarterback 2 behind Darnold for a year, it's no problem. And Darnold, you get 1 year where he gets paid $40 million. That's nothing to sneeze at. And guess what? He's only going to be 28 by the time his franchise year is done, so he could still get paid, right? Or the Vikings could tag him again because they could afford to do it because the 2026 cap is even cleared up more than 2025, and plus it doesn't even count against the cap if you tag and trade him anyway. And if he has another solid year, he's going to still be in high demand for 2026. But that's down the line. More importantly, what if Sam Darnold is legitimately the guy? Right, he was a number 3 overall pick coming out of USC for a reason, and obviously it worked out well here with Kevin O'Connell and the weapons. And yes, I think that Darnold knows at the end of the day, like, hey, if I want success, it's going to be here. Because what am I going to do? Take my ass to Tennessee, take my ass to the Giants or the Raiders, and I can just replicate this? No, it's not going to happen that way, homeboy. And I think that he knows it, so maybe there'll be just a little bit of a discount. Plus, whether it's a modified 1-year deal or even a multi-year deal, Vikings can spread out those cap hits, they'll be good to go. And also, maybe we should stop using Jordan Love as the poster child for sitting for a couple years because he was ass, thank you, throughout most of the day, except for the final 2 drives because Flores started playing prevent defense. But I digress there. But at a certain point, this ceases to be a bridge quarterback situation. This is not Case Keenum. Case Keenum caught lightning in a bottle for 1 season, wasn't going to be able to replicate it. Sam Darnold could be him, legitimately. And like we said, of course, this all depends what happens. But I don't see Darnold turning into a pumpkin. And guess what? Darnold is now a quarterback that you can win a Super Bowl because of. Before, he was a quarterback that you could win a Super Bowl with. There's a very thick line of distinction. But I truly do think that in the playoffs, when the Vikings need a drive, I think that Darnold and Justin Jefferson, Addison, Hockenson, they can deliver. This team can win the Super Bowl. They're legit. It's okay to say that. 1 game at a time, yes, but 4 more wins, you hoist that Jerome Barty. And then guess what? What do you do with Darnold then? What do you do with Super Bowl MVP slinging Sammy Darnold? What do you do? Pay him. He's the guy. All right? And this locker room is mature enough. Kevin O'Connell is good enough of a leader where, guess what? This doesn't have to be a quarterback controversy. And guess what? J.J. McCarthy's only 21. And guess what? Think about Montana and Steve Young. There was 0 friction there. No animosity. It didn't divide the locker room. Bill Walsh played it perfectly. And guess what? It made both players better. All right? And for like a micro version too. Like when the Vikings began starting Jalen Redmond at defensive end in spot of Jerry Tillery. Guess what? It made both guys better because both guys knew that when they had their opportunity, they had to bring it. And just think of that dynamic with Darnold and McCarthy. Guys that aren't going to have vitriol in it. Guys that are going to be mature enough to just get out there and compete. And guess who benefits? The Vikings. So just think about that. All right. And I know that the thinking right now is like, well, thanks, Darnold. Not so fast. Not so fast, my friend. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Raw Rant. Skull. No production value.